What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are doing a live stream talking about Bitcoin, the road to 100K, and what that road's going to look like. Hopefully, not just for this month, but going into next month as well. I do expect by the end of this month, we'll see prices in the six-figure range. Yes, by the end of this month of November 2020-24, I think we will see prices above 100K, and I think we've got more to go in December. I'm going to let some people roll in. Sent the link in the Discord, getting things going right now. I want to get things set up on here as well, actually. Hold up. If anybody's in here, I can't see you yet, but hello. Good to have you in here. Let me see. And if no one's in here, well, it's good to have me in here, man. Let's see here. Where? No, not that one. Come on. There we go. And all right, I've got one person in here. There we go. Okay, cool. I think this is the least active live stream from start to finish. I might be the one person in here, but whatever. We're gonna get it started here in a couple minutes. Whenever more people roll in, probably, and I want to make sure that it's public. Everything's good. Yeah, public. Maybe it's just a slow night on a Sunday night. I don't know. A lot of people, Ivan on Tech this morning, if anybody watched Ivan on Tech's video, if nobody knows who Ivan on Tech is, I really think, here, I'll go to YouTube, the homepage. I think you should check him out. But his channel today, on his live stream, he was saying how nobody's posting on X. Like, some accounts are obviously there, but there's not any mania, and the reason for this is that there might be a lot of people on the sidelines, so nobody wants to celebrate while Bitcoin's taking off without them, and we might be seeing that here. What's up, Cactus? How you doing? What's up, Grady Scott? Good to see you guys. Thank you for being here. Hit that like button, y'all. Subscribe if you haven't. I know you guys are subscribed, but yeah, man. We're gonna talk about the good old coin, the good old Bitcoin. There we go. We got some people rolling in now. I just figured I'd BS a little bit until we had more faces in here. What's up, JKE14? JK14? I don't know. Balloon, what's up? One request at a time, my friend. And we will do requests. I like doing live streams where they are predominantly requests, but first and foremost, let's just see how this goes. I'll write down Zcash for you, ZEC. We had a little discussion about that in the Discord last night. But I'm not really taking requests at the moment, guys. I want to talk about Bitcoin. I just want to let people roll in here. We got 12 people. It might be a good time to start things. What's up, Profit Bear? How you doing? I'm glad you're here live, man. Thank you. I didn't know this is the first time. Hell yeah. Good to have you. What's up? How you doing, Go Anders? Good. You got the text. Hell yeah. Balloon, I already said what's up to you too, my friend. Sup. Dead Money, how are you doing? Sup, bro? Glad to have all you guys in here. So I want to go over some stuff that I've been going over really since the end of October, since we nearly broke the all-time highs that one week, and then this following week we've actually broken above it, right? I want to go over some stuff like that. Some stuff that I've been going over, and then I also want to go over some stuff with the RSI in the long term. If that didn't make any sense, it might be because I didn't word it the best. But Bitcoin here, BTC USD on the index, right? Bitcoin all-time history index. We're on the monthly time frame. If we go back in time, and I know, especially anybody that's watched my Bitcoin videos over the past week, you've probably seen this exact idea thrown out a lot of times, but I want to kick it off with this for anybody that hasn't seen it, right? So 2012 was our very first halving, right, in November. This was our high before the halving, right? We zoom in here. The high, or the halving, the very first Bitcoin halving was in November. This is our pre-halving high, okay? And we need to be, I think, on a weekly, actually, not a monthly basis. And once we broke this high, and this is important because what we've done right now, breaking the all-time highs that we just broke, those are the pre-halving highs. That is the pre-halving highs that we just broke, right? Breaking out to new all-time highs simultaneously for us happened to also be breaking the pre-halving highs. This time, the very first time we had a halving, when we broke the pre-halving highs, from that high, the pre-halving high, including the week we broke out, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks later to the top. That's a 56.56% growth. Obviously, we continue to grow past that, but that's not the point, right? 4 weeks. I want to try to encompass the immediate term time frame. So 4 weeks. after you broke the high, including that week, within a 4 weeks time frame, 56%. First halving, a lot of growth. You can chalk it up to that, right? Maybe we don't see that much growth this cycle because that was the first halving. Let's go to the second halving. The second halving was in July 9th, 2016. So over here, one of these weeks. The high prior to that was here. When we broke that high, it was this week here, including this week. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, okay? From that high to the top that we made in 4 weeks' time, from breaking the pre-halving high, we moved up 46.7%. So 56.6, 46.7. I hope it's clicking, right? What we're doing here. The next halving was May 11th, 2020. The pre-halving high was here. When you broke this high, including this week, 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously you continue to grow afterwards as well there. But from that high to where you were 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks later, that was 36.8%. Okay, and here you stalled out, and then you continue to grow like after 2 weeks, right? Pulling back to your pre-halving high. This cycle you continued to build, and this cycle you stalled kind of, but really just continued to build. But each time you had great growth in a 4 week period. And some people might say this isn't the pre-halving high, this is a more acceptable pre-halving high. And I get that there's an argument to be made there, but what I would say then is that breaking the pre-halving high was this move here versus this move here. And to me, if you just look at this movement, what we've got going here versus this seems more in coherence with what we've seen on our our post-halving high breakouts, right? That's the kind of move where this little thing here, that's not really that's not what we've seen historically. So I feel like it's more appropriate to gauge this. Anyways, 36.8%. We take our high, or our pre-halving high from this year. Our halving was in 2024, April 20th of this year, right? This week here. Our high before that halving was right here. We've just broken it as of last week, right? Because the week before that, we got really close to breaking the high, but we didn't. So it was this week, 1 week here, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks out. I don't know why I measured it that way. I'm sorry. Going from the high, if we were to measure in a 4 weeks time frame, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be by the end of this month, right? The very last week of this month. From what we've seen historically speaking, the minimum projection would be 36.7% essentially, somewhere around there, right? Something like that. That's at 100K. You guys, it's happening right now, right? And I didn't need to do all this. I know a lot of you. Shout out to all the 40 people in here. What's up, Smooth Operator? How you doing? Oh yeah, dude. 84. It's crazy how some people are still bearish, but I get it's not crazy because we've all been there, right? Especially in the first cycle. We've all had those moments. For me, anytime you get near all-time highs, it's kind of hard to be in bearish belief anymore. But there are people here, even at these prices, as crazy as it is, you guys, who are expecting a pullback. You hear it across the space. I was watching all kinds of. This is how you know we're going to keep moving up and why we've kept moving up over the weekend. Everybody's expecting a pullback. They've been expecting a pullback, and it's because this is what we've been conditioned to think. Every time we've pumped, we've pulled back over the last 8-9 months, or I guess like 7.5 to 8 months, really, right? But we forget what a bull market's like. Look at what we're doing now. Look at this little taste we've gotten in the past week. Look at what we did beforehand, right? I didn't need to do all this stuff to tell you guys that breaking out of here is bullish, right? But the reason I'm doing this, the reason why we went through all that, is to tell you that in a 4 weeks time, historically speaking, based off of what Bitcoin's done throughout its entire existence, in a 4 weeks time, 36.8%, 56.56%, that's the range of growth we have. I doubt we grow 56%, but I would think something bigger than 36. Even if we grew smaller, maybe it's 26%. It's kind of going down by 10% each time. Maybe it's 26%. I'll bite. Maybe we're only at 94K, 95K. I'm still cool with making the call that we're going to hit 100K by the end of this month, because that should put some urgency under anybody's kind of impression of Bitcoin. I don't think there's enough urgency in the markets right now. I think people are looking at this price at 81.3K and they're not thinking by the end of this month, by the end of this month that will be above 90K, that will be above 100K. No, they're thinking, when am I going to get a chance to buy? When's it going to go back below 70K? When is it going to, blah, blah, blah. It's not happening. Right? You'd be lucky at this point to get any prices that are anywhere near $73,500, right? It might go back down there. That's possible. It might not. And even if it does, it's going to be very short-lived and continue, because again, we're on a 4-week war path right now to nothing less, statistically speaking, than $100,000. And there's a good chance we could stop below it too. It's completely possible. I've accepted that a little bit more as a reality, right? You've got the 1618 right there at 94.7K golden extension. Okay, it makes sense. And that's, again, 28%. It would be smaller than what we've seen so far, but they do get smaller each cycle, it seems, okay? But regardless of where we are by the end of the month, you guys, this is just the beginning. I didn't need to measure all that stuff to tell you this is just the beginning of that next move up, right? We can go on a monthly look here, and this is another kind of perspective I've offered over the past couple weeks especially. And we can see from our halving point right here, each cycle, we'll go to November 2012 again, put this line on there. July 2016, it was July 9th, 2016. We go to the next halving, which was May 2020. And then our most, whoa, I thought I had, oh, I didn't have it on this, my bad. All right, cool. My bad. July 2016, May 2020, and then our most recent halving in April. Okay. Here's when the bear cycle ended. Here's when the bear cycle ended. Here's when the bear cycle ended, right? And then here's when the bear cycle ended, okay? Pre-halving move up, post-halving move up. Pre-halving move up, post-halving move up. Pre-halving move up, post-halving move up. You guys getting the picture? Pre-halving move up. Statistically speaking, I mean, just based off of this alone, we could expect a sizable difference in this growth to come. Our post-halving pump would be bigger than what we've experienced so far this cycle. And that, in fact, that's how it's been every single cycle, right? You take this pre-halving pump and you put it over here just for size. You take that post-halving pump, but it's not completely accurate. But I am drawing it from the low to high to the best of my abilities, right? And you can just see it's significant. Even these ones, they look close together. You put them side by side, not even close, no. Way bigger, right? Here's what we're dealing with so far this cycle, right? We got a big boy. Pre-halving move, it was a lot more constructive, right? We didn't have this lull like we did last cycle. We've got a lot more constructive things going on in the economy. The right person, or what's the word I'm looking for? Administration might be moving into office, and that might set the economy up, not just in America, but on a world stage for good things to come, right? There's already been talk about peace, or at least ceasefires, or there's discussion of wanting to halt what's going on with Ukraine and Russia and Iran and Israel, and probably what's just going on in the Middle East at all right now because of Trump, because he got elected. And if you don't want to say it's because of Trump, I get it. Biden's in the office right now. This stuff is happening while he's in office, but it happened right after Election Day. I'm just saying, if this is stuff that's happening now, and that was the only stuff, the Ukraine-Russia conflict, the Israel-Iran conflict, which, again, I've said this whole time that I didn't think would interfere with this cycle at all, and it hasn't. Our cycle clearly hasn't given a shit about that. Not to say that this isn't significant stuff. People dying is very significant. It matters. It's tragic. It's devastating. I'm just saying the markets clearly don't care. We're at new all-time highs, and these conflicts are still going on. But as the markets don't care about that, that's kind of like the only thing, I think, the only negative thing on a world perspective that could create any kind of uncertainty. We've got a lot of bullish momentum building up all over, right? Like the US dollar, the DXY is in a kind of phase of consolidation. It would allow Bitcoin and other risk on assets to grow. We've got quantitative easing come back, right? We're seeing interest rates going down. Federal Reserve is loosening up a little bit with their monetary policy. Inflation is under control, right? And then again, the change of administration. We've got all these good things going on. The only negative things are these conflicts. But again, the market doesn't seem to care. What happens when those conflicts go away? What happens whenever it's Inauguration Day and the world's at peace for the first time since COVID? Like, if this, you know what I mean? I would think that sets us up for a lot of growth to come. And this is where I got hung up, right? It's from this low to high, our pre-halving move. As big as it might seem like it is, I think last cycle was a dud. So of course this is going to be big. We've got making up to do. We've got institutional on-ramps with ETFs coming in there, all that stuff, but we've got nothing in our way. I expect this next move will be bigger than this, right? And if we put this to where we are now, our post-halving move from a low to a high, that put us at about $300,000, okay, in November of 2025. I think that's on pace for about the time frame that we're looking for by the end of the cycle. That sounds about right to me, but I think we're going to be up a little bit higher. I don't think that we're going to move up this big again, right? If that's the time frame, that makes sense to me. But this post-halving move is bigger than the pre-halving move. So the only way to make this bigger is to increase at a faster pace. I don't think we're going to be at 300,000 or just below 300,000 by the end of the cycle. I think we'll be at 400,000. And to finish that off, and then I'll go through all the comments. I see people writing. I want to get to it. The reason why I think we're going to go above 400,000, besides just the idea that we'll see a larger post-halving move, as we always have. Okay, the largest move is always the post-halving move, not the pre-halving move, of which we've literally just commenced. Okay, we literally just started it. We just started it this past week. Okay, we just started the post-halving move. From a high to a low, all-time high to cycle low, you went up to your 2272. Now we're trying to make sense out of the 400,000, 500,000 price targets, right? Something that would be bigger, because again, if this pre-halving move measured from this low and out puts us in November of 2025 and it puts us at just below 300K, so we're expecting bigger than that, how can we make sense out of that? And I think 400K makes sense because, again, from a high to a low, we hit the 2272 here, right? I'll go back so you can see it, 2272 right there. Forward, high to low here, this cycle high to that cycle low, you hit the 2272 there. This cycle high to this cycle low, we did not hit the 2272. We fell short. We hit the 1618, okay? Which is also, I think, because we didn't go so deep in the extensions. I think that's why we had such a weak bull cycle. We had a very tame bear cycle, the weakest bull cycle and the most tame bear cycle we've ever seen. I think that has to do in part with why we saw new all-time highs before the halving. That's my kind of theory. But the 1618 for the only time in its existence that it saw that, right, was the last cycle. This high to this low here, okay, again, going with the idea that our pre-halving move from a low to a high was this, okay? If we're looking at the fibs from where we are, from that low there, okay, that low there to where that high would be, if we were seeing the same move, which we already know, we've already established we're not going to see that same move. It's going to be bigger. Every post-halving move in Bitcoin's existence is going to be bigger, and I don't see now why we would expect anything less, right? How come last cycle gets a bigger move, and last cycle was pathetic? This cycle, when we have all these great things, economically speaking, in the world going on, how would this not grow larger than what we've seen already, right? We had more uncertainty here than we do now. Things are looking clear, right? Sunny skies. We can see the horizon, right? Like it's literally... It's looking, there's a better outlook on the world now than there has been this whole bull market. You think it's not going to be bigger than this? You think we're not, you know what I mean? I think it's going to be bigger. So this takes us up to about 260, the 1886, okay? We've established already that the very first cycle hit, you know, from the cycle high to the cycle low, hit the 2272. Cycle high to cycle low, hit the 2272. Last cycle was the only one that didn't hit the 2272. It hit the 1618. So at a minimum, statistically speaking, we would at least expect to see this by the end of the cycle, 173K. But would that make sense based off of everything else we've gone off of, right? Would we expect to see a smaller post-halving move than our pre-halving move? We've never seen that before, right? To me, that wouldn't make sense. In the environment that we're in right now, to me, that wouldn't make sense. I'm expecting we're going to be at 100K by the end of this month, and then the cycle doesn't end until about a year from now. It's not going to take us a year to move up less than 100%. That wouldn't make any sense either. I think it makes a lot of sense that we would go to our 2272. Again, this is the reference of the pre-halving move, right? Should be identical to that line right there, basically, in size. I don't think we're going to stop here. I think time-wise we're going to stop here, right? Somewhere in that time range, before 2026, right? But we're going to move up to the 2272. 462,000. And every time that we've moved up to the 2272, we actually go just above it. And what's right above it? That nice psychological level of $500,000, $500,000. To me, that makes sense. That's where I think we're going by the end of the cycle, right? And essentially too, one more thing, you guys, it is going to be a straight line, right? It's going to be a straight line up to $462,000. And I know some people are hearing that and like, C-Zar, you're nuts. That's crazy. Nothing moves up in a straight line. And I agree. Nothing moves in a straight line. That's not necessarily what I mean. But we've done the research and we can do it again right here. But what I'm about to tell you, I'll validate it in a second. But what I'm about to tell you is this. Every single time that we've had a bull cycle, okay, you move up into the overbought zone on your monthly RSI and you come out of it. And then that second time you come up, you were, for the next 12 to 13 months, 10 of them were green. Okay, 10 out of the next 12 to 13 months were green. 10 of them. You moved up in a straight line. 10 out of 12 to 13 months. 10 months out of a year were green. Okay, after the second time you moved up into the R side. Does that make sense on the overbought zone? No, let's do it again. You got overbought the first time here, came out, then you got overbought. That's when that 10 months out of a year started. You got overbought here, came out of it. Once you got overbought again in this period, you had a 12 to 13 month period here. 10 out of those 12 to 13 months were green. You moved up in a green after green after green, right? Statistically speaking, 10 out of 12, 10 out of 13. One of these is 13, one of these is 12. Maybe they're both 12, and then this one's 13. I forget. Same idea here. You went to the overbought zone. You didn't get into it unlike the last two times. We had a weaker cycle last cycle, okay? But this is that same move. So attempt into the overbought zone. Once you finally got into it, the next 12 to 13 months from there, or actually no, last cycle was lame. It wasn't 12 to 13 months, but for the remainder of the bull cycle, it was basically green. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 7 months were green. And then this wasn't the bull cycle anymore. That's a sideways market. So all this, and you can go through and measure it yourself. I just wanted to say it so that it's quicker. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I feel like I'm going through a bunch of things that I've gone over before. I don't want to bore people, but also these concepts can be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit much. Maybe, I don't know. How are you guys liking it? Maybe you're liking it. Let's see. Smooth operator. Maybe last cycle was pathetic because BTC is pathetic for being slow and expensive to move around. Yeah, I mean that's probably fair. But there are a lot of cryptos that were pretty pathetic last cycle too. Any pullbacks from here are called bullbacks. Go Anders. That's you guys. That we should get a shirt. Pullbacks or bullbacks, baby. I don't know. 84K will wipe out. We already saw that. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. What's up, Dr. Mike Burry? How are you doing? Where's CleanSpark going? I'll let you know. I'll bring that up, actually. We can talk about that. I just want to make sure I'm looking at all the comments, saying hi to everybody. Rodney Abercrombie, what's up? I'm cool. How are you doing? I do. I think Bitcoin's going to break it by the end of November, bro. I'm cool. Bitcoin's going to break 100K by the end of November. That's my thoughts, my genuine thoughts. I made that prediction last month. I made it like an official, like concrete prediction in the first or the second day of this month. Let's see. What's going on? Person with a I think that's Japanese. It might be Chinese. I don't know. I'm not familiar with Asian literature. Let's see. Armando Mesa, what's up? Oh. Let's see. Michael Mayfield, how's it going? TF, Debo, Costa Ricardo, Javon K, Lucas, CJ, YouTube account. It's a great name. Geopolitical analysis. Samuel Emmanuel. Fizz Cyber, got to be the shoes. XRP, you want me to talk about XRP? I can write XRP down. I've seen a few people asking about XRP. I'm just saying hi to everybody in case anyone's wondering what's going on, why I started talking in tongues. I'm just saying hi to everybody. And I think I did. I think I went through everything. So hi to every 102 people in here. Hit that like button if you haven't. But again, you can go through, you guys, and see that we've had this like test of the overbought zone, test of the overbought zone, test of the overbought zone every cycle, right? And here we tested it as well. We just got deeper into it on that first attempt. When we come back into the overbought zone on that second attempt every single time for the next year period, 10 months out of that year are green, okay? This is our first month. And actually, I think as well, if we go back and look in time, okay, this first month here, that got into the overbought zone. It was November 2012. It was November, okay? First month that got into the overbought zone again was November 2016. And then the first month that got back into the overbought zone again was November 2020. Was it November or October? It was November. Yes. Or was it? It might have been October. Let's see. This one's actually close. Nope, it was November. So each time that we've gone on this 10 out of 12 months, 10 out of 13 months being green, except for this time it was 6 out of 7, okay? But a majority of that finale of the bull market being green, it started in not just any November, the post-halving November, right? And the election cycle November, which we're in right now. So things are looking good, guys. Things are definitely looking good. Absolutely, I think we've got a prosperous future ahead of us. Sorry, I keep clearing up my throat here. Hold on. Okay, so Armando Meza spamming the comments, bro. We get it. We get it. Sweet. Guys, by the way, don't buy Sweet right now, okay? Armando is the reason we're not going to buy Sweet. Now let's look at Sweet because you want to talk about it. Let's talk about it, right? So everybody's aware of Sweet, right? We've been aware of it for a while. But now, over the last 2 weeks, maybe even over the last month, if anybody's noticed, since it broke all-time highs, that's when people have really been talking about it, right? It's got bearish divergence on its weekly RSI. It's not formed yet, okay? It's not formed until you get a red week. From a high to a low, you've hit your 1272, okay, an expected area to find resistance. I wouldn't be surprised. You're at 325 right now. I wouldn't be surprised if you made your way up to 568, and that's nice. That's nice gains. But going from a low of 46 cents all the way up to 324, that kind of growth is going to be slowed for SWE now, right? This thing is not going to grow 100% throughout the rest of the year. It's probably not going to grow more than 100% throughout the rest of the year, but there's going to be a plethora of coins in the top 100 that will. SWE, I think, is going to do great, and I think it looks promising. It might be relevant for next cycle too, and it might really do well for itself, right? I think this could be one of those like brand name coins if it keeps doing what it's doing, but I don't think it has a whole lot of growth left in it for the rest of the cycle, and I don't think that it's got a whole lot of growth left immediately speaking. Like, you're at 322, you've already come up on this run here, breaking right through your all-time highs, right? I could see you going up to 568, I really could, but I couldn't see you going all the way up here or like deeper. Like that'd be pretty intense. That'd be pretty, and maybe by the end of the cycle, obviously these prices are even higher or on the table, but by the end of this move, by the end of the year, when most things are making their move, I don't think you will. I think you'll keep moving up. Again, you'll probably do well if you buy SWE, but I think just like most things, that whenever it's at new all-time highs, whenever it's outperforming the rest of the market and everything hasn't taken off yet, and it takes everybody's attention off of whatever coins they're invested in, if anybody buys this, they're going to relinquish the coins that they've been holding or the other coins that just haven't popped off yet. Those coins are going to pop off while this thing's, it's still going to move up, but it's not going to move up as much as some other coins, right? Like, I bet Compound, and Compound has been such a dud, okay? Compound. I bet Compound grows more. I'll make a bet with anybody right now. Compound grows more from a percentage basis from this day forward for the rest of the year. For the rest of the year, maybe even by the end of Q1 2025, I bet Compound grows more than SWE. And Compound's been an underperformer. It really, I mean, look at how boring it's been, right? I'm just saying, like, not to hate on this thing. I just think this is one of those things that if you're looking at it now, this is called FOMO buying. This is not strategic buying, right? You want to buy stuff that looks like this. You want to buy stuff that hasn't taken off yet, right? Bitcoin itself, this is FOMO buying here, but we've done the work. We know that even if you buy here, even if you're FOMO buying, you're basically golden. You're not going to be making a mistake here. The odds of you losing money, and even if you do go down, it's going to be so short-lived. It's going to be recovered. It's just such a safe place to buy. A lot of people look at the price like this and they think, I've missed it. I'm too late. That's the mistake right now. That's what all the people, if there's 112 of you in here, I would bet there's a good bit of you in here who are sidelined, and maybe you're not sidelined, but you've got some money on the side that you wish you put in, but you didn't, and it's still sitting there because the price took off without you, and now you don't know what to do with it. Well, let me try and encourage you. None of this is financial advice, but let me try and encourage you. This is just the beginning, right? You're not late. I mean, you're late, obviously, compared to the relative move here, but you're not late to the party. We've got a lot more to go, right? If you're looking at Bitcoin specifically, and then obviously for the rest of crypto, you're not too late. But if you're thinking you're too late and you need to wait for that pullback, you need to wait for that opportunity, you're never going to get it. So what you need to do is just like buckle up, knuckle down, and just put your money in the markets. If you've got money sitting on the sides, if you're sidelined at all, you need to park it in something. And I said this a week ago. I said that exact thing. You guys, it's not time to mess around at all. If you have money on the sides, you need to get it in now, right? Even though we're up this week, not just with Bitcoin, but with a lot of different things, right? The dominance went down this week a little bit too, this past week, right? A lot of things went up. It's still early. It's still a good time to get in, right? And maybe not for everything, maybe not specifically right now. It might be wise to wait and see what we do tomorrow. But I think a lot of people are going to be sourly mistaken. I think people are expecting that we're going to get a pullback tomorrow that's going to close the CME gap. I don't think we're going to get it. And I mean, even if we do get it, it's going to be very fast, and then we continue upwards. So if you are waiting on that lower price, you better be active. You better have your limits set at the right area. but it might not come. I don't know. It's not guaranteed. That's all I'm trying to say. 123 people in here. What's up, everybody? How you doing? 123. I actually like the number 123 a lot. I think I might get that tattooed on me somewhere. I really do like that number, right? It's the 123 moving average. That's this green line right here. 123, 123. I don't know if my end is broken or glitching or something. Let me see. Yeah, it was. It wasn't showing new comments for some reason, but I can see them now. XRP is garbage is what Poochie Green is saying. Let's check out XRP. Let's do it. Let's look at XRP right now real quick. We'll talk about Zcash. Someone requested Zcash first. I'm sorry. Balloons. I think it was Balloons. Not Coinbase because they relinquished XRP. We don't have all the historical data. Yeah, XRP is up last week, 17%. Not the craziest, but that's okay, right? I do think XRP is going to break out, and I think it'll go to the upside. I think there's better investments that'll make more money, but I do think XRP is a safe investment. What it lacks for in potential rewards, it makes up for, I think, in risk. I don't think it's that risky of a coin. And it's just been in a consolidation phase for the last 2 cycles. I think this cycle will be the cycle it breaks to the upside or to the downside. I do think it's going to be to the upside. You guys know on a monthly basis, this is the longest stint XRP has gone without having a month that closed 100% to the upside from an open to close. Like from its existence, this month right here, this is the last month. It's the longest period we've gone without having a 100%. So I would say we're overdue for a pump. In my opinion, just that logic alone. You look at the RSI, monthly RSI hanging above the 50 like this, consolidating, whatever. It's not the strongest look, it's a neutral look, but as is the price. I think XRP is just wound up, man. It's gonna blow up soon. I don't know. It's the same analysis I've probably been giving for the past few months now. And when it moves up, you're at 59 cents now. I would expect you see a move very fast that takes you to $1.60 to $2.25, somewhere in that zone. I do believe inevitably you'll get above it, but I think you'll find resistance there at first. I don't think you'll find resistance at the golden ratio. If you do, it'll be very short-lived. But genuinely, I think this move, when you break out of this consolidation phase, it's going to be a very fast move up to $1.60, $2.25. You're at 60 cents now, right? When will this happen? I don't know. You know, you'll probably break out of this by the end of this year, but will you be up here by the end of the year? I don't think so, right? But by the end of this move, by the end of the cycle, you know, obviously I think you're going to be at new all-time highs. I do. The minimum target's $8. I don't think you'll be at $27, but $8 or $13 I could see by the end of the cycle. But as far as by the end of the year, I don't know. By the end of the year, I think you break out. I think you're probably above 75 cents by the end of the year. But how much higher, I don't know. You could be at $1.60. You could be at $1 itself or even below $1. It's hard to say. But XRP is looking frisky. That's all I got to say. It is relatively boring, but that's when XRP does its best work. Doge is going off. Yeah, let's check out some Doge. I'm going to look at Zcash real quick because I said I would, and then we'll talk about Dogecoin. And then we'll get back to Bitcoin too because I want to talk about, I want to do some short-term analysis on that as well. 56 or 46.89 on Zcash, moving up on a weekly basis. Last week we were up 22%. Nice, a little bit above average volume. Getting overbought on your weekly RSI just looks so good, man. It looks really, really good, honestly. A lot of people might see this. You've got like lower highs, you're overbought, higher highs here. They might look at that and say there's bearish divergence, and it is presented, but I think really as long as you're not getting any red weeks, this will continue to grow, and it won't be bearish divergence. It'll be what it has been, a kind of parabolic, like banana-shaped RSI channel that you're in, and you're going to reach for this next high, which will probably be above the 80-point threshold there on the RSI. So you're going to see a strong move, right? Stronger than anything you've seen probably since 2022. Stronger than anything you've seen so far this cycle. You're probably going to move. We take a relative high to the relative low there. Yeah, I think by the end of this year, you're at 46.89. I think by the end of the year, Zcash is at 114 to 143. Yeah, I think so. You look like you're about to rip. Like you really do look like you're about to rip. All the right things are there. Yeah. And when I say about to rip, that doesn't mean you have to do it today. You could the next week chill or move up a couple days and then move down a couple days. But over the rest of this year, right, over the next like month and a half, you're going to do really well, I think. But again, that doesn't mean immediately, but still relatively in a short amount of time, yeah. What was it, Dogecoin we were going to talk about real quick? Poochie Green, what's up, my friend? Dogecoin on crypto. I like Dogecoin a lot, man. This is one coin that I planned on buying this cycle. I plan on holding it. I have a little bit technically, but not enough to supplement my desires for it, but I think it's too far gone, honestly, for me at this point. 28 cents, 29 cents, it's a little bit too far gone. Didn't get the right entries, and that's okay. Knowing what I know now, I wish I bought it back here and held it, right? It's easy to say, but for different reasons. I was holding other cryptos at this point in time, and the idea was I would, Dogecoin might be up at a higher price by the time I'm ready to buy it, but these other cryptos would pop off. But a lot of these cryptos, they're just boring. They haven't done anything. So, the plan to cycle through into Dogecoin was a solid plan. It didn't work out, I think, at least not with the coins that I'm holding. So I wasn't in the right position. But enough about my own grovels, right? If we take a relative high here, very first high that you had in 2014 to your all-time low, moved all the way up to your 1618 golden extension right there. Boom, 1618. We take the high here to the low. You demolished the 1618. Went all the way up to your 2272. Okay, so you've established that you at least hit the 1618 both times. The 1618 here from a high to a low, just with that simple line of thinking. 394, $4, something like that. You probably go just above it, right? At a minimum, $1.54, right? Last cycle you saw the 2272. The cycle before that you saw the 1618. So I think calling for prices that are at least at like $1.50 or higher, I think that's more than adequate, right? But truthfully, I feel like the most appropriate thing to say would be something above $3, close to $4, maybe even above there. I don't think these targets should be considered. And everybody that's like, what about the market cap being that high? What about, I think Dogecoin has proven, right, that this coin was made, right? The guy that made this coin sold all of his coins. He says that this coin is a scam and that it's a piece of crap. The guy that made the coin. He made it as a joke for his dog, in honor of his dog. It serves no purpose, essentially, right? And the only reason why it's growing now at this point, it might be just because it's a meme, right? It's the OG meme coin. Perhaps it would have continued to grow with or without Elon's presence, but it definitely has a dominant presence in the crypto market as a currency, as a coin, right? Most cryptos aim to actually be used. Doge is actually used as a currency, and that's because of Elon Musk, right? Like, it's actually used. Tesla uses it. The Mavericks use it. Mark Cuban, right, implements that too. But I'm just saying there's more use case for it now than there ever was, right? It's very decentralized. It's never needed a reason to see these high market caps before, right? And now it actually does have a reason. I don't care. The market cap will be 600 billion, 400 billion, whatever dollars up at these prices. I think it's going to go there. That's my genuine opinion. And it can sound crazy now. You can laugh at it now, but whenever it happens, I'm not going to laugh at you. I'm going to kind of kick myself for not buying it sooner. But, being at 29 cents, talking about prices that go up to 390, that just doesn't excite me. Those are great gains. But for what we've got for the rest of the cycle, I think there's better gains to be found elsewhere. But what's nice about Dogecoin is it's basically, to me, it's like a sure thing, man. This thing, there's very few sure bets in crypto. This is one of the most bullish charts in crypto. You can just see it. It's one of the most bullish charts in crypto. And it's got one of the most crypto-friendly guys advocating for it, right? 3 billionaires. You got Mark Cuban, Vlad Tenev, and Elon Musk, who all publicly advocate for Dogecoin. Name me any other cryptos that have 3, and when I say billionaires, I mean like publicly, like people know who they are. You don't know who Vlad Tenev is? He's the owner of Robinhood, right? I think everybody knows, at least you should know who he is. If you use Robinhood, you should know who's in charge, I guess, right? It's like you all know who Brian Armstrong is, right? Because he used Coinbase, but. And if you don't know who Brian Armstrong is, again, what? You should know who's in charge of your money, I guess, or maybe the guy that's in charge of the company. I don't know. What am I even saying? Glad to be able to have you here to catch the live too, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, man, we all are. It's all good, snarky guy. Whatever. I held Doge, you guys. I bought it back at like 0.0078. That was my first time buying Doge, and like retrospectively, I wish I just put a ton in there and I just never sold it, never looked back. But I'm happy with the purchases I have now. I took that money, I diversified it into a bunch of different things. I was planning on throwing it back in here, but this might just be one. If it has a significant pullback, I'll definitely look to buy into this. Like if we can get Dogecoin back below, I would say 17 cents, which I don't think is going to happen. That's not characteristic of this thing. I mean, maybe, but it's really not characteristic of this thing. Right, like here it barely broke its all-time highs and then it pulled back a lot. But like here, if you broke your all-time highs barely and you pulled back a lot, you might just be back to where you are now. I don't know. That might be later in the cycle. It might be a good time to buy. But all I'm trying to say is, for me, The only way I could see myself buying Dogecoin at this point is if it was below 17 cents. And even then, but yeah, it looks good. For anybody that's holding Dogecoin, yeah, it looks really good. You look like you're going to do phenomenal things. Your monthly RSI just got overbought. That's a good thing. Weekly RSI has been overbought, very dominant, right? Pretty hot. You might cool off for a little bit of time, but just a little bit of time, right? You're at your 1272 now. Okay. What'd you do before? High to low here. High to low, you hit your, we're going to talk about Bitcoin in a second, guys. A little bit at the 1272 there. And that's the 1618 lining up with this 1272 over here. So Dogecoin probably takes a pause for a second. And that makes sense. I actually do think that the rest of the, I think Bitcoin might continue to move up, or maybe it just kind of chills, but you might see altcoins kind of pull back to start this week. I don't know if Bitcoin pulls back too much, but we'll see. Let's talk about Bitcoin. I'll go through some comments real quick and we'll talk about Bitcoin. What's up, everybody? 147 people in here, man. You guys must be bored, y'all. You're all jacked up on the crypto juice and you want to hear somebody talking about it through the magic internet portal. I bought Doge in 2017 and swapped it for ETH. Smart move, she says. Nice. Was that a smart move, actually? I wonder. Let's see. ETH. Because what time in 2017? ETH was at a pretty high price then, right? But it could have been, I don't know, man. I mean, either way, if you're still holding it, it's not a bad, depends on when in 2017 there, April BB. Sold to the moon. Yeah, Sol's probably going to do some real good things. What do I think about Cardano? Eric Russell, it makes so much sense that Cardano's pumping because everybody was shitting on it, right? That's exactly the same logic that's going to make XRP pump, right? Everybody's crapping on it. And you know why Cardano's pumping, and I'm sure a lot of you probably, the Cardano people probably know this, but I figured it out today. I pieced the puzzles together. It's because Charles Hoskinson, he's on like the crypto advisory board for our government, right? Like Trump or his team brought him on. This is his coin. Of course it's pumping. Of course it's pumping. What coins do you think are going to have like legislative pathways paid for them, right? Like Cardano, he's not going to do anything if he's part of this advisory board or team or whatever it is. I don't know what it technically is. I know barely anything about it, right? But I know that this exists at least, right? That he's a part of it, whatever it is. Do you think he's going to put regulations in that hurt Cardano? Probably not. We don't know what's going to happen, but we just know that Daddy Hoskinson is not going to hurt this thing. That's probably why it's pumping. And you had a lot of accounts while Cardano was at its lows here, by the way, which are higher lows. A lot of accounts wrote it off, said that it won't see new all-time highs. Watch it see new all-time highs this cycle. Just because of that. It's at 59 cents now. Watch it go all the way up to $5, $6, $8. I don't know. And maybe it doesn't. Maybe it only goes to $2. But I definitely think Cardano will grow from here, right? It definitely has this W shape. I think you'll see some growth one way or another. New all-time highs, I'm not completely convinced yet, but I wouldn't be surprised, right? I think that's why it's pumping, though. Let's see. BCH. We could talk about some BCH. We should talk about BCH. I want to talk about Jesus Coin. I'm excited. You guys, I'm really excited about Jesus Coin. I know. I'm a top 200 wallet holder, okay? I'm shilling my own coin. I didn't make the coin. I didn't really believe in it at first, right? The first videos, you can go back and watch, and I was saying, I'm like, I wouldn't even recommend anybody that I love buy this coin, but if anybody wants to, go for it. That was my first, interactions, but they slowly brought me on, man. They slowly indoctrinated me into the coin, and now I'm a top 200 wallet holder of Jesus Coin, and we will talk about it in a second, actually. We will. $442 for Bitcoin Cash. This is my biggest hold, right, out of all my cryptos that I hold. This is the biggest hold that I have, biggest bag itself. Bouncing off the monthly RSI, right? We've never seen this kind of bullish structure ever. This is Bitcoin Cash's all existence, all its history, right? From a high point to a high point here, we have found resistance on this line throughout its entire existence, right? This line has plagued us from seeing any kind of higher prices. It does seem that we are making an attempt on this line's life. We're going to break its neck, and we're literally going to dance on its ashes, right? We're going to continue moving upwards into the stratosphere. And I think that whenever we break out of this line, because Bitcoin Cash has been in a consolidation phase, whatever you want to call it, a descending triangle, a wedge, whatever you want to call it, it's been a consolidation phase its whole life. When it breaks out of this consolidation phase, just like if we broke it to the downside, I would expect a large move down. We're breaking it to the upside, I would expect a large move up. Okay, with that move, we go to our indicators. We get our MA ribbon on here. With that move up, we would also get our moving averages, our moving average exponential ribbons here to cross, bullishly cross on the monthly, right? Two very big events that are going to coalesce with each other. They're going to happen basically simultaneously. I think Bitcoin Cash is about to rip. It's at 442 now. I was tempted to buy some more. I'm not going to lie, actually today. But that's just kind of like that FOMO. It was really like an emotional feeling that made me want to buy. It's obviously good. The reason why I wanted to buy was because I remember my call that I made back here, right? Back over here, that I didn't think Bitcoin Cash is going below $400 ever again. Look at how long it was below $400, right? Maybe it was over here, but I think it was over here, right? And I was just thinking, man, back here, I was thinking how good of a price it was to buy here. It doesn't seem like it's a good time to buy now because we've come up from so high. But I just remember back over here, I really remember thinking like, and I did buy over here. I just thought how great of a price it was, and we're not going to be out here for long. And here we are basically at the low ends of that end. I think it's at a great time to buy, even now. It's at 442. We could pull back to that $400 area. I don't think we will, but we could. I think we just continue growing, man. I really think this thing's just going to keep moving up, like rather immediately. I genuinely meant it when I said earlier this week, Bitcoin Cash will close above 500 by the end of this month. It might even close above 700 by the end of this month, right? And by the end of the year, we're calling for $1,300 to $1,900, right? That's the end of the year price predictions. So Bitcoin Cash weekly RSI looking really bullish. The BCH BTC chart's looking bullish as well. Daily RSI in the overbought zone, bullish as hell. Let's talk about Bitcoin, you guys. Let's get back to Bitcoin. I got some stuff I think that I want to talk about with Bitcoin. 161 people, man. I'm starting to wonder. It's like, is this bots or is this reality? You guys really must just be bored, man. Because this live stream, I'm having fun. I always have fun, but it's nothing special. I don't know. At least I don't think it is. I mean, it's not like it's bad, right? I'm having a good time. I hope you guys are too, but I don't know. It's very minimal production value. Silky saying it's trash coin. Reality, I like it. Hey, man, we're going to take, you know what? It might be a trash coin. We might be the trash people, but trash men, trash men get paid well. They get paid relatively well. They actually make like above the median salary, I'm pretty sure, right? Especially people who've like actually formed a career out of it. So we'll be the trash people. I don't know why people get so offended at this thing being called B trash. It's like if somebody called me honky or cracker. It makes me laugh. It doesn't offend me. It's like, this is B trash. It makes me laugh. Like, I don't know. I know Roger Ver got offended. So now everyone thinks that if anyone calls him B trash, it's like the same thing as using the N word or calling a woman the C word. It's not the same thing. I think it's funny, right? People say B trash. I'm like, B trash, baby. Let's go. We're going to take this trash to the moon. Let's go. I don't know. I'm going to paint my trash gold and sell it to you. I don't like that, you know, like whatever. It's better than Bitcoin. You can call it trash. And that's the thing is like people that talk crap about Bitcoin Cash, they're one of two people. They're either so stubborn that they like Bitcoin or more commonly than not, there's people that haven't looked into Bitcoin Cash, right? They've heard the rhetoric, they've heard the narrative, and they haven't given it enough time or enough credit to actually in their mind think about legitimately researching it. But if you legitimately research it, if you actually do any research at all, you'll see that it is the better Bitcoin. It really is, right? Bitcoin Cash did not fork off of Bitcoin. BTC and BCH forked off each other, right? I'm not trying to go on this whole philosophical rant, but I guess I did take a little offense to it when you said it was a trash coin, right? Look at how long I've gone off on this. Let's see. We already talked about comp. Fizzy Cyber. Muhammad Arafa, what's up, brother? I love everybody coming in here saying not bots. That's great. Yeah, I can share my views on Kaspa, Ajav. I want to talk about Jesus coin real quick, okay? Okay, everybody sell your shoes, buy this coin. No, I'm just kidding. You know, this is a meme coin that I like personally. It is my biggest bag as far as the meme coins go. Nothing's guaranteed, as with any meme coin, right? People ask me all the time, like, what I think the best cryptos are, and I do hold a heavy bag of this, right? Like I said, I'm a top 200 holder, but it's not my biggest bag, and it didn't start as my biggest bag, right? I've added to it at these low prices, and it's grown, it's grown, right? So that's kind of helped, but I still don't recommend this, right? People who are asking me like what coins to make money and stuff like that, like I want to recommend this coin because I really do believe that it's going to grow. Like I have a lot of conviction in this coin, but it is a meme coin. It is low liquidity. For people who are newer to crypto, there's a barrier to entry with the idea of using a DEX. It's not that hard, but it's a little bit more sophisticated than just a simple buy button on the regular exchanges, right? So I'm always kind of cautious to recommend Jesus coin, but this is like that. It's like that diamond in the rough, right? You have to get a little dirty if you want that gem. And I think this is the gem, honestly, man. I think this thing's going to do well. And I'm not just saying that, right, because I'm a top 200 wallet holder. I'm very transparent about that, right? I'm not trying to like hide that or anything. From the price that we're at now to the all-time high, which by the way, I think if you look at the chart, I think it's very obvious, the trajectory, right? I think it's very obvious what we're on our path to do right now, right? I don't believe we're going to stop short of this. I do believe we're going to see new all-time highs, okay? But just with the idea of going to the all-time highs from the current price of 60244, that's a 138% gain right there. If we do what we did last time and we hit our 1414, oops, that was not the right target or the right click. You know, that would take us up about like a 6.5x. And I expect this move will probably happen by the end of the year. And if not by the end of the year, going into next year, right? And this is kind of the minimum target area. It really could go higher, but I don't want to talk too much about that on the stream. But I really do think that it has a chance. I really do think it has a chance to go higher. It might even have a chance to be stronger than this move here. So is it at a bad price to buy? Just like Bitcoin Cash or any of these other coins, it's not the most ideal time to buy, but I don't think it's at a bad time to buy. I think it's like now or never. If you want to get into it, it's really now or never. All right, I said that yesterday, said that the day before, and we just keep moving up. I'm saying it today as well, right? Daily RSI just got overbought, bouncing off the 40, double bottom there. It looks really bullish. Looks like you broke out of this small phase of consolidation on a daily. Looks like it wants to move up. Good. What you did on the weekly was you closed above this weekly high here. If we take a relative high to a low on the overall chart, relative high to low here on this move, not this low, that's the fake out low, but the actual low here where you double bottomed off of high to low of this move here, not the low of the sideways move. You closed above the 618, the golden ratio right here, okay? Even if I did move this line down to the actual low, that 618 would just move lower, so you'd be even further up above it. But not only did you close above this weekly high, but you closed above the golden ratio. This tells me, and this is your second interaction with the 61869, this tells me immediately, as in by the end of this month, maybe even by the end of this week, man, you're going to be up at the 786, 886 area at 6035 to 6044. And you're at 6024 now, so not quite a 100% move up, right? But people are talking about buying SWE. This thing will make what SWE's probably going to do in the next 2 months. This thing will do that maybe in the next 2 weeks, right? Or less, probably. But again, lower liquidity. It's not for everybody, right? But I think it's going to do well. And I'm just going to leave it at that. If anybody wants to learn more about Jesus Coin, I'll tell you what, give Rita a shout out here. Jesus Coin, I forget how, I'm just going to type in Jesus Coin TV. If you want to learn more about Jesus Coin, this is the place you go to right here, Jesus Coin TV. Videos, playlists, whatever. She's got it all, man. Everything. And I don't know what videos there, right? Go to playlists. She's got literally like everything. Any questions, any kind of whatever you have. She's got my TA by C-Zar. She's yeah, great. Thank you, Rita. Shout out to Rita on that note. Definitely deserves more than 59 subscribers, especially with the community. We've got like 17,000 wallets, right? But anyways, enough about Jesus Coin. I can see I lost 20 bots on that one, so we're going to try to get the bots back in the stream, you guys. Oh, man. That's some high-quality H2O. That's El Dorado water, man. Anybody living in Colorado, you should drink the El Dorado spring water. They get it from a spring that's like 200 feet in the ground, bro. But it is in a plastic jug. That's kind of not ideal. Let's talk about Bitcoin. Let's get back to here. Okay, let's talk about this now. So, a bunch of bullish things going on, right? Back in the beginning of the video. And then I'll start interacting with the comments more. We'll go through and do your guys' requests a little bit more. You know, we broke above the pre-halving high, okay? So that traditionally has been bullish, right? That's whenever we ignite that second phase of the bull cycle, the post-halving breakout move, right? Which is always the biggest move, right? The post-halving move is always bigger than the pre-halving move. The post-halving move is always bigger than the pre-halving move, right? It just always is. And we've just begun that, okay? Every time that we've gotten into the overbought zone, not for the first time in a bull cycle, but the second time, we just see tremendous growth as well. Over the next year, we see 10 out of 12 months being green. Or in this one instance, we saw 6 out of 7 months being green, right? So you have a high probability of green months to come, very low probability of red months to come, okay? If we look at the weekly just got overbought as well. A lot of people look at the RSI. Anybody who's new to TA, anybody who's new to analyzing charts, if you watch other people's YouTube videos, apply this logic there even, because people who do YouTube technical analysis, they can be wrong. I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'll be wrong again. You best believe your favorite YouTuber or your least favorite YouTuber, whoever it is that you're watching, they will be wrong. They've been wrong before. They'll be wrong again. And some people, even people who have like bigger followings than me, they make a mistake whenever it comes to this RSI. And sometimes it works out for them, but oftentimes it's not the case, right? And what I'm going to go over is just this, right? You're looking at the weekly RSI. Sometimes you have a very short-lived moment up in the overbought area, right? You pierce it like this or pierce it like this. Sometimes it's short. But if you go through and you look at basically all the instances of this overbought zone, when you cross into it, you're in it for weeks. This is a weekly time frame, right? From the beginning here, that's June 2012. You don't get out of it until August, right? Like middle August. Here it was just a week. But all I'm trying to get at is that whenever you get into the overbought zone, look at this here. Even whenever you came out of it, right? Right here, you came out of it. But if you sold when you were in the overbought zone here, right, and you came out of it, are you vindicated? Are you validated? Or did you make a bad move? You missed out on the whole run. You know what I mean? Like, this behavior of living in the overbought zone, you want to see these prices. You want to see the readings in the overbought zone, and we've finally got that after months of since April, March maybe. No, April. We haven't been on a weekly basis in the overbought zone, and we just got that with this last week's close. Does that mean it's time to sell? It could. It's possible. It happens sometimes. But the more common thing, the more like statistically probable thing is we're just getting started, you guys. We're just getting started, right? And we know that, again, from everything else. I didn't need this to tell you that, right? We've got everything else telling us that as well. But the weekly, this is just more stuff adding to it, right? The last time we got overbought, just as a perfect reference, was right here on October 23rd, 2023, right? Not the week before, we were down here, but the following week we were up here in the overbought zone, okay? That week right there, here it is. Very big move, October 23rd, right? Very big move. Finally got into the overbought zone. Look at the pace, right? Moved up, got into the overbought zone here. You slowed down, but you still moved up, right? You slowed down, but you still moved up. If you sold there, you would have missed it takes more patience for this next part, but you would have missed a good bit of the move, right? Even here at the deep overbought areas. If you sold at about like 46K, 44K, whatever it was, you might have felt smart, especially if it went all the way down to 38K. But if you didn't get back in, if you didn't buy, you would have missed a large move up, right? It's not in a bull market. It's not really worth it to try and guess when this price is going to move down just based off of being in the overbought zone. So all I'm trying to say is this is not a bad thing. This is a good thing. You get your strongest moves and go back in time, right? For anybody who's new, if you're using the RSI, this is new to you. You want to get better at it. Go back in time and look at it, right? Don't think about it logically or however you're trying to think about it in your head. Look at it in front of you and see that the strongest moves only happen really when you're in the overbought zone, right? Just like the biggest moves to the downside only happen when you're in the oversold zone. And not always, but generally speaking. So you want that. You want to be overbought. It's a good thing, right? CRO is pumping. Crypto junkie. We'll talk about CRO. Daily RSI overbought, right? Living up here, man. Just living. You probably do pull back, okay? You've kind of got this like channel moving upwards. It looks like you're at the top of the channel. You probably do pull back. Daily volume's kind of dying off as we're moving up. We just keep moving up, man. I wonder, right? Where's that CME gap? Let's look at it real quick here. BTC, USD, or no, it's just BTC. Is it BTC like this? What? I thought it was. Do I type in Bitcoin? Or is it BTCF? Somebody help me out here. Mr. Hat, are you in here? Leaf? Anybody? I need someone. Will you be able to share your views on Kaspa? Oh, Ajav. We're going to do Kaspa. We're going to do Kaspa. I'm sorry. I left you hanging, bro. Yeah, we'll talk about Kaspa real quick. We'll come back to Bitcoin. Maybe that'll give some people some time to help me out here with the futures chart. Ajav, yeah. So Kaspa's in a kind of predicament right now. It really was looking by the beginning of last week that we were going to see that move down to around this area that I was expecting, right? I wasn't expecting necessarily that we'd bounce here, but to be fair, over the past couple days, I was expecting a move like this. I didn't make a video. There's no way to prove it. The last call that I made publicly was that it would move down, so I'm not trying to vindicate myself or make excuses, but I'm just saying the rest of the market was moving up. It kind of would make sense that Kaspa moves up here, even if it is moving down, right? It's basically moved down straight. To see some kind of move up on its way down would make sense, but I do still believe Kaspa is on its way down. I'm not completely swayed by this move up. If we look at Kaspa on KuCoin, that's above average volume. It's some of the most volume you've seen, but it's still pretty insignificant for a week like that, right? Like you saw a bigger week here. You had a smaller wick here, pretty big wick, but still a smaller wick than what you got this week, and that volume was dramatically bigger, right? Not saying that invalidates this move. It is more volume than you've seen in a while, but it doesn't sell me, right? So far, it's just a lower high. And where that lower high comes in from, by the way, if you look at the high to low here, there's more, right? I'm not just being crude to this for no reason. Right there at the golden ratio, right there at the golden ratio, okay? You take this away, you look at where it topped off, basically where these weekly, this shelf right here, where you had weekly closes, right there at the golden ratio, like literally right there. But the shelf of support on weekly closes and opens and even resistance right there, right? Kind of found support there, a little bit of resistance in this area. You found resistance right there. It looks kind of like an obscure area, but it's got the golden ratio of your relative move, and I don't think it's really that obscure in price. I think you just found resistance. It's a lower high, and you're going to move lower. We look at the weekly, you're above the 50, but this weekly doesn't respect the 50 at all, so that doesn't matter to me. You're in the area that you might find support or resistance. That's what that's saying. And coming up, I think you might find resistance. You know, lower highs, lower lows in the weekly as well. We look at the daily, you're in the overbought zone, okay? You're in the overbought zone. If you can move up today, if you can move up tomorrow, if you can really start to move up from here, if you can get above 18 cents by the end of this next week, okay? You just started a week, so over the next 7 days, if you can get above 18 cents, I'm wrong. But if you just got in the overbought zone and you're really going to show strength, you should move up. But if not, if this is a weak move, if this is a lower high and you're going to continue to move down, if this is a higher high in the RSI with a lower high in the price and it is hidden bearish divergence, you would expect a continuation of the trend, right? Lower highs, lower lows. You just came off of a lower low to form this lower high. Your next trajectory would be a lower low. I do think Kaspa inevitably will make money going up. I think that it'll see prices around 25 cents or higher, probably above 30 cents even, to finish out its cycle. But I don't think it's going to move up now, right? I actually think that it is probably going to move down. It's probably going to get hit the hardest this week compared to a lot of other cryptos in the top 100. But I could be wrong on that. I really could be. It's possible. I don't know. I don't know the future. You're at 15.339 cents right now. Prove me wrong and just get above 18 cents this week, dude. That's it, right? Prove me wrong like that. Easy peasy. Should be easy. But either way, I'm not in the boat that a lot of people are in with Kaspa, that they think that Kaspa is going to go to $5 or $1 or $50 this cycle. I think you'd be lucky. Kaspa people, you'd be lucky. I mean this. This is not an insult. If it happened, if you got above 80 cents by the end of the cycle, you'd be lucky. I'm not expecting anything above 50 cents. Okay. Above 25 cents, below 50 cents, probably close to that 30, 40, like 35 to 45 cent area. But yeah, I don't know. That's my thoughts on Kaspa. I hope that helps. I hope that that's kind of what you're looking for. To be fair, 4 hour actually looks pretty strong right now. I don't think you continue to move up though. I think that was it. You're probably going to start working your way back down. You could also prove me wrong. Instead of breaking 18 cents by the end of this week, if you can hold support at 13.2 cents. If you can hold support there, then I'm wrong as well. You might even go lower. Actually, let's even be more generous. If you hold support at 12 cents, then I'm wrong. Right? You hold support at 12 cents, you get back above this high. You don't even need to get above 18 cents to prove me wrong. Get above 18 cents, find support somewhere down here, and then get above this high. Either of those options, right? Either continue to move up immediately, get above 18 cents, prove me wrong now, or move down, hold support at key areas, and then move up later, and then prove me wrong that way. But other than that, I think Kaspa really is right now on its way down. I think what it's done, if you look at it like for what it is a very bullish chart, right? you're familiar to these before, right? You've had these moves up and then an upward kind of sloping consolidation phase, right? You had this upward sloping consolidation phase here and you've broken out to the downside. I think you're just back testing it and you're going to continue. I think you just broke out. I don't think it stops. I don't think you break out of a trend like this or a consolidation phase like this and you get off that easy. I don't think so. I think it's pumping with the rest of crypto right now, and that's cool. But to think that if the rest of crypto pumps up, that Kaspa has to pump with it, it doesn't. Kaspa's done its own thing, this whole market. It's pumping with the rest of crypto now, and sometimes that happens too. But it absolutely can move down while Bitcoin's making new all-time highs. We've seen it move it to new all-time highs while Bitcoin's moving down. We've seen it move down or beat sideways while Bitcoin's moving up to new all-time highs before. It doesn't need Bitcoin. It's kind of on its own schedule, and it makes sense that it's on its own schedule because look. It's not on any significant exchanges, really, other than Kraken, right? Or, sorry, KuCoin. It's not on any significant exchanges. So, of course, it's going to be doing its own thing, not really following the rest of the market, right? I don't know what's wrong, guys, but the live chat, it keeps like freezing on me. So if I'm not responding to everybody, I'm sorry, but I am trying. But maybe it's because there's so many people in here and my channel's just not used to it. I don't know. Strong price action. This one's to hit. I think so too, Gandalf, but pump the brakes, bro. Pump the brakes. All right, we're going to move up there fast. We are. We're going to hit 100K, guys, by the end of this month. And I actually think my genuine targets are closer to, I think, like 110K. I would say closer to 110K by the end of this month is what I'm thinking. But, you know, we could go way higher. Who knows, man? But I've been saying it, right? And I'm proud of this. I really am proud of this, right? Because it's coming true, right? Said it here. I said it seems crazy, but as the weeks go on, as each week goes on, you're going to hear more and more people accepting the idea that $100,000 is going to happen by the end of November, right? And as we get to that last week, it's not just going to be a possibility. It's going to be like what people are expecting. We might even by that last week be there. But, you know, started off this week, not so certain. Ended off this week, people are probably still not completely convinced we see 100K by this month, but there's a little hope. People are talking about 90K very soon, right? Talking about other prices. Like, we're definitely, you guys, historically speaking, I want you to understand, and again, shake off the cobwebs, okay? We're not in this anymore, okay? We're in this. We're in this. We're in better than that, actually, right? This is the phase of the market where we move up dramatically stronger and faster than the pre-halving move up, right? This is our pre-halving move. Post-halving move just began. Anytime that we've broken above the pre-halving high, which we just did on this week, within a 4-week period, we moved up at least 36%, if not 56%, right? This move right that we're in the middle of right now, we have 6 days, 20 hours left in this week. This is the first week of 4 weeks to be expecting a 36 to 56% move. You guys, this shit's going to move fast, right? Like, we're up right now from that high. We're only up 10.6%. We got more to go. And the minimum target is at 100K. So yes, I'm with Gandalf. I think 90K very soon, very soon. Maybe by the end of this week, if not sometime next week. Absolutely, I think so. BTC1, I knew it had an exclamation mark. Thank you, the Marky P. Thank you. Okay, BTC1. Is it exclamation point and then one? Or is it one then exclamation point? What the heck, bro? What happened? The Marky P, help me out. Somebody, am I ridiculous? What happened? Muhammad Arafa. BTC1. Okay, I'll look at that. I'm going to answer Muhammad Arafa's question because I can sense the frantic in the question, right? You're probably feeling the FOMO. Muhammad, this is my genuine opinion, my friend. It moved up 76% last week. It's not the time to buy. It's too late to get in. There's so many better things, right? There's a lot of things. The idea is, and this is a perfect example, and I'm not making fun of you, Muhammad. I hope you know that, right? We have a good back and forth. I hope you understand what I'm saying here. There's a lot of coins that are going to do this, and people are going to get distracted, right? And I'm making an example out of this moment right here. You're going to think, I should put my money into this coin. Look at how much it moved up. It's going to keep doing it. No, that's not true, right? Because anytime it's done this kind of stuff before, did it keep doing it? No. Did it keep doing it? Yes, for 1 week. You know, like it doesn't just do this. Okay, here, probably a better example, but it doesn't just do this forever, right? And odds are what you want to do is you don't want to buy here. You want to buy here, right? And there's a bunch of coins that look just like this right now, just without that week, right? Or even with this week, but they're up like at their relative highs. Get into those coins. Get into the coins that haven't popped off yet, right? That's my thoughts. Not financial advice, not a financial advisor. Is it a good time to get into ADA whenever it's up 74% this month already? No. But it probably moves higher. It probably moves back. You know, if I was to look to buy ADA, I would probably try to buy it at 47 cents or lower. That's what I would try to do. It might not go there, but that's what I'd probably try to do, just thinking roughly off my head. But even if you bought it here at 59.5 cents, yes, I think it's going to move up higher. Yeah. In time it will. BTC1 exclamation. Bitcoin futures. Oh, they tucked it all away. Okay. It used to get all the options, and now you don't. Okay, that's weird. Whatever. Trading view. I just missed that memo. Oh, hey. Dude, you guys. Futures are at 82K. And of course they are, right? Like, because we're expected to move up higher. Right, just so you know too, guys, with the CME gaps, people think like this, right? If the gap was down here at 77K, people think that means Bitcoin needs to move all the way down to 77K. Well, Bitcoin could move down to like 79K really quick, and the futures could fill that gap. They could move down lower, and then we filled the gap without moving all the way down to 77. If anybody is expecting 77K or lower, I think you're crazy, right? I think that's what this is telling us, is you're crazy. And a lot of people are expecting the CME gap to get filled. I bet everybody, you're going to hear it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, you probably heard it today. And if it's not tomorrow, it might be until it gets filled. You're going to hear people talk about this gap. But let's do this. Let's go back in time and see if we had a gap at our last pre-halving breakaway, right? Let's go see. We'll figure that out. So here we did not have a gap. No, we didn't. We did have a gap here, and we did not fill it immediately at all. No, we did not. That gap remained until we were firmly entrenched in our bear cycle, right? So maybe this gap will get filled, but probably in our bear cycle, but probably not. We probably actually won't come this low in our bear cycle, right? Like, we're probably not going to be anywhere. We might graze 100K or something like that in the bear cycle, but, let's see. Like this gap here, we came back to graze it, but we didn't fill it. We did come back to graze it, but we didn't fill it there. These gaps we didn't fill, right? Moving on up. I can't look back any further than this, right? Yeah, it's because CME didn't exist back then, but that's okay. I don't know. You don't have to fill it immediately, right? So just don't get sold on this. If you hear anybody say, if they're convincing you that Bitcoin has to move down to 77K, because that's where the gap is, don't believe it. Please don't believe it. That's not true. Don't count on that, guys. Again, the message here, the message to the 156 people that are in here right now, the message is, if you have money on the sides, don't be expecting a pullback. Don't wait. Don't wait. It's not too late to get in. It's just getting started. Take your money off the sidelines. Get into the markets. I'll tell you what, I would bet anybody right now, if you're somebody, and there's 156 of you in here right now, so I know I'm talking to at least a good portion of you when I say some of you have money on the sidelines, and you don't know what the right move is, right? You don't know what the right move is. You feel this punch in the gut because you're watching the market go up. You feel like you made the wrong move, don't you? You feel like you made the wrong move. That's why you feel that feeling, right? The market's going up without you, and you've got money sitting on the sidelines. I would bet, even if you bought here at these seemingly high prices, which I say seemingly because relatively speaking, we're at all-time highs, but we're going to go higher. And I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I'm talking about any crypto that's moved up a lot in a short amount of time, right? I would bet if you bought, and maybe not Kaspa as a good example, but really any coin out of the top 100, I would bet if you bought any coin, even if it moved up 15% today, how you know it's the right choice is because when you buy it, I bet you're going to sleep good tonight. I bet you're going to feel good about buying it. I bet you're going to feel relieved. The pressure's off. The stress is off. You finally just did something with your money and you got in. You're not, your body, your soul is telling you what is right, right? If you buy it and it feels wrong, that's how you know it's wrong. But I would bet any of you who are sidelined right now, even after what we've seen this week, if you put money in, I would bet you'd feel relieved, right? And that's not the same, not to get confused with anybody who's FOMOing on stuff, right? I'm not talking about FOMO. That's a different emotion. Of course, you're going to feel relieved when you buy something with FOMO. You might even feel a little bad about it, but it's a different emotion. I'm not talking, if you're feeling FOMO, try not to chase the FOMO. I mean, like if like, for example, ADA, right? Don't chase the FOMO with this one. Maybe wait for it to come back to you. You see stuff like this and it's making you feel like you wish you got in. Maybe don't buy this one, but look for a coin that hasn't taken off yet, right? That looks like this and it hasn't taken off, but it's getting close, right? The market's full of coins that look like this that haven't popped off yet, but they will pop off, okay? And that are in the top 100, top 200 that have a good chance of moving up, right? You don't have to play the guessing game or play the FOMO game, right? We don't want that. But again, just the idea that having money on the sidelines right now, having any kind of narrative spun your way, any person on YouTube or the media trying to convince you that the price is going to move back down and you'll get a chance to get back in. Your money's on the side, but you'll have a chance. Don't worry. Just be patient. It'll come. It's a BS lie. It's not going to come. We're in the phase of the market where we move up very, very fast, and that feeling that you have of missing out, it's only going to grow if you don't get in now. And again, I would bet any of you who are sitting on the side, if you put money in right now, I bet it will relieve you. It'll feel good. And that's how you know it's right? That's how it felt for me, right? I had some cash on the side. I've been in crypto very heavy, you guys, like predominantly since, I don't know, since like 2020, is the end of 2022 or the very beginning of 2023, right? But so I have money on the side, but I'm definitely not sidelined. But even that money, I felt relieved to get in, right? So shalom, Abe. What's up, brother? What's up? Shalom, the real Jesus Shalom if he's in here. What's up, Core Vision? What's up, Mr. Hat? Mr. Hat's in the house, you guys. I'm feeling bad about longing XMR. Hey, maybe. Hey, we were going to talk about XMR. I talked about it recently. Let's talk about XMR, though. I don't know, you guys might be able to hear my cats meowing. It's their time to get wet food normally. The only reason I'd feel bad about XMR, Mr. Hat, and it's probably the reason you feel bad about it, is because you don't know when it's going to move up, right? You might long it for 5x leverage, and this move happens. It just happens over here. and then you're getting eaten up by the fees that whole time. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to happen. It's just when, right? It's when has longing at this price ever been good over the past 2 years? It hasn't been. But you're getting close to when it will be, right? Like, it's going to happen. Monero had one of the most tame bear cycles out of all of crypto. Right? A lot of people compare the bull cycles in this sense, right? Like how much it's grown. But something people don't consider enough is how did it perform in the bear cycle? Most cryptos, they pump sporadically and then they just dump sporadically, like just crazy. This was tame. This is very tame. Structured even, right? As if there might be some buying pressure going down the whole time. We're moving sideways. I wonder how many people with deep pockets had time to line their pockets with this kind of price action, right? An exchange, a shift of hands in Monero, the world's first privacy crypto, and I think the most predominant one, right? That has like a real use case as far as like a crypto peer-to-peer money cash system goes. Rafiki, bro, chill. My cat just keeps meowing. He wants to go outside, but bro, it's cold out there. There's snow out there. He's like, I don't care. I want to go. I have a theory. It's a boy. My cat's a boy, but I have a theory that he might have a boyfriend. I'm not going to go into it. But I have a theory. We're just going to leave it at that. Right? Maybe on the Discord channel I'll share why, but try to keep it PG-13 at the most on here. Survive and hopefully thrive. You know it, Mr. Hat. That's the thing too with leverage trading, right? You don't have to be right. You don't have to be right to be successful. You just have to have good risk management, right? And good risk tolerance. If you're right 9 out of 10 times, you can lose money leverage trading. If you're wrong 9 out of 10 times, you can still make money leverage trading if you have the right risk management. It's about surviving, just like Mr. Hat said. It's all about surviving, right? Hi, how about XTZ? Tezos. You want to talk about Tezos till you Bezos? Gay cats? They might be gay cats, man. That might be a crypto. It wouldn't surprise me. In fact, we're going to look it up right now. Gay cats. I'm genuinely surprised that this is what we're seeing right now. Gay cat, maybe? No? Well, it's going to happen tonight. We've already got gay and we've got cats. I don't know. Anyways, We were going to look at XTZ, Tezos. I want to look at Tron too. I want to look at Tron. Tezos up, nice. You're up 16% this month already. Nice, cool. Yeah, probably moving up. You probably are. From a high to a low, I bet you're on your way up to like $1.67. You're at 73 cents now. $1.67 or higher, probably. Yeah. Kind of like mana compound, right? You're probably gonna move up to the top of your consolidation phase. I bet this time is the time you break it. Are you just gonna run right through and break it, or will you like consolidate around this top area first and then move up? That remains to be seen. But yeah, looking good, looking positive. I think so. Monthly RSI looks productive. Weekly RSI looks productive too, and your price action looks productive. So yeah, Tezos moving up. Let's talk about Tron TRX real quick. Some Justin Sun Tron coin. Man, this coin, I feel like this coin is the ADA of this cycle, right? It's like getting the recognition it's deserved finally, I think. And if we look at this is proof of what I'm saying whenever it comes to coins like XMR, when it comes to coins like Litecoin, when it comes to coins like Bitcoin Cash. Okay, a lot of people, they make the misconception that if you get lower highs cycle after cycle, that means the coin is dead. But some of us have stipulated that it might not be dead. It might be consolidating. You might be getting lower highs but still getting higher lows. So how can you say it's dead? You're consolidating until you pick a direction. And Tron, TRX, being one of the first, it hasn't seen new all-time highs, but it certainly looks like it's on its way to do so, right? This looks like the most promising out of any coin that hasn't seen new all-time highs since the 2017-2018 cycle, right? I say 2018 because it was January 2018, but really it was the 2015, 2017 cycle. But it's living proof, man. And the reason why, we've seen it in the stock world too, right? It happens in stocks. Why can't it happen in cryptos, where you consolidate for several cycles and then you finally break out, right? Some people would call that healthy, right? A lot of these coins, these legacy coins that have been in the top 100, the top 20, the top 50 for 3 cycles now, people write them off as if they're nothing. Watch this be an OG coin rally, you guys. Watch coins like XRP, like Cardano, like Dogecoin, obviously, right? Bitcoin Cash, Chainlink. Chainlink might not be a good example because it saw new all-time highs last cycle, but Litecoin, right? Coins like that, watch them do really well this cycle, and see new, all of them see new all-time highs. Monero, right, is one of them. There's probably others too that I can't think of, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is kind of proof of that, right? That it can happen, right? And there's a bunch of more bullish things going on with some of those other coins than what's going on with Tron. But Tron's relative. Tron's bullish right now, I think, just because of the whole decentralized ecosystem thing, right? That's got a use case, a very applicable use case right now. From relative high to relative low, you're up above your 886, closed above it several months in a row now, finding support on it. You have bearish divergence on your monthly, but I wouldn't be worried about it. I think you're on your way. You're at 16.5 cents. You're on your way potentially by the end of this year. Because when you break above that 886, things tend to just go, man. And you're looking frisky on that weekly RSI. By the end of the year, 26 cents, maybe 41.5 cents. You're at 16.5 cents now. So Tron looking frisky. Justin Sun Tron. Going to make some dividends. All right. Let's see what else we got here. eCash. Quant. Put King Hat on you. Vikash Kumar. I actually do have the King Hat. But I'd have to wake. I wouldn't have to wake my daughter, but I don't want to go in her room right now. So I would have it. I actually had it on my desk today, but we don't have it right now, unfortunately. Tail emission, this means it won't have finite supply. Watch how the chart after 2022 looks much different than I think this matters. Or interesting. I don't know. I actually don't know too much about the tail emission. If it's emitting, like the more that it's being used, it's being emitted, right? If it's like, I don't know enough about it, but if it's gearing it to be kind of a stable coin, right? Like if it's got an algorithm that inflates and deflates this thing according to its use. I don't know if that's what's happening. I don't know about it at all. But if that's what's happening, no, it's a fixed emission. Oh, okay. Per block. Oh, okay. No, I don't think that'll affect it. Inflation's fine, right? Like inflation, I think is totally fine. No, okay, yeah. I got you. No, yeah, I don't think. I mean, it will affect it. It will affect its overall potential for what its growth could be inevitably. But as long as its inflation is at a lower rate than the dollar's inflation on average year over year, you're fine. You're solvent at that point. I think. You know, if your inflation levels are lesser than the dollars, you've got to be somewhat practically solvent at that point. Yeah. Oh yeah. Vikash Kumar. I think it will. I think Bitcoin Cash will for sure. We talked about Zcash already. We talked about it, Walter Jr. at the very beginning. I promise you. Pepe. We can talk about Pepe. Yeah, per block. Yeah, Doge does have that. A lot of people write off Doge because of that as well. But the thing is, guys, is Doge, and what's cool about that fixed rate of inflation is that as more coins come out, the rate of inflation decreases. So it's inflationary, but at a deflationary rate. The US dollar and most currencies in the world, they're inflationary and at a variable rate. It can be inflationary with an inflationary rate, inflationary with a deflationary rate, but it's variable. These things are fixed, and that just means as time goes on, right? If it's a fixed rate of emissions, not percentage wise, but the actual number itself, like it's this X amount of coins per block or per whatever, then the rate of inflation, it is inflationary, but it's a deflationary rate of inflation. I don't know if that makes sense or not. It makes sense. Those words all make sense, but I get how sometimes I'm hard to follow, but I feel like the concept's not that hard to wrap your mind around, right? Pepe, USD, we can talk about that. Pepe, I think, is going to be already has been a top performer, right? We've all known that it's going to do well for itself. Yeah, we're expecting new all-time highs for Pepe. Absolutely, we are. 50% up last week. Yeah, buddy, you're on your way. That's one of the top performers, right? In a week-long period. Up to 4023. 40335. Those are your next targets. You're at 4012 right now. So yeah, you got a lot of growth. Probably by the end of the year, yes. Maybe not. Maybe even by the end of this month. You could go even higher than that. But yeah, Pepe's looking good. Looking real frisky. What was the other ones that you guys wanted me to talk about? I feel like I skipped over some people. Oh yeah, Quant and eCash. Future Millionaire wanted Quant, and then John Binky wanted me to do some eCash. Quant. I feel like Quant. It just, for me, it's so boring. It's one of those coins, man. It's just been so boring. Such a letdown. Right? But at relative areas of resistance, kind of like a double bottom look, we can expect to see some stuff from here. Will it see new all-time highs or not? That remains to be seen by the end of the cycle. Let's interpret that it does. The expectation then would be that we see a relatively immediate move up to 175.206. You're at 67.75 now. So when I say relatively immediate, I mean by the end of the year, if not certainly by the end of Q1 2025, we have to be up here, okay? Have to. Have to. 326, you'd probably at least want to be there. I don't know. That might be a little bit difficult to say. Because you could be second half of 2025, you could be breaking above that, and then you're on your rally run. You know, like look at how this thing runs before. I don't know. Harder to say. But you want to be up here sooner, I would say. You don't want to be down here for the rest of the cycle, right? You want to have some hope. So really, I'm not going to know if this thing sees new all-time highs. I'm not going to feel comfortable calling for that. I'm kind of comfortable calling for it, but I'm not going to feel completely comfortable calling for it until I see how we interact with the 61869. So for now, you're at $67. The call is to move up to 175 to 206 with the prospects of $800 to $1,800 on the brain for the end of the cycle, and maybe even past that. Genuinely. eCash. What is eCash? Is it XEC? That's right. XEC. eCash from a high to a low. Is that the right chart to use to KuCoin maybe? I don't know. I mean, it hit the 618. You know, that's kind of nice. It's kind of respecting that too. I don't know. Let me just see this real quick. Let's see if you're finding support or respect off of this. Kind of, not really, not enough to go off of. All right, we won't use fibs, which I'm a fib analysis kind of guy, so I'm going to be handicapped here, so pardon me, but, you know, we'll just see. Monthly RSI looks poised to go up. Yes, you do. Weekly RSI Also looks poised to go up. You look strong. You look very dominant. Couldn't even get oversold, right? Got overbought, no problem. Very dominant upward structure. Couldn't even get oversold, though, on your weak moves. Higher low overall. I feel comfortable taking this high to this low in the fibs, okay? There you go. Consolidating below the 382. Looking like you want to break out. You get above 4 zeros, 414. You're going up to 4 zeros, 57, 4 zeros, 627 very soon. Then you get above 4 zeros, 81. It's on to 3 zeros, 13, 3 zeros, 218. Higher than that, right? I think you do move up, though. It looks good. It looks good. And relatively immediately, I would expect prices around 4 zeros, 57 to 4 zeros, 627. Yeah. Yep. Ape coin for Garrixer. Do you take some profit at any resistance level? Resistance. Or directly take profit at 12 to 20K. For Bitcoin Cash, I don't think it's ever good for anything to just set a number and stick with that just for a number's sake, right? I think I am planning on selling Bitcoin Cash above $20,000 by the end of this cycle. I am. But if April comes around and we're still below $1,000, I'm going to have to rethink that. If April comes around and we're all the way up at 13K, I don't know how sustainable that is. I might have to think about selling there as well, right? That'd be a lot of growth in a very short amount of time. That would call for a serious pullback. If we're in April, that could hurt its performance for the rest of the cycle. It might be a good time to get out and put it into other things. That could change. All I'm saying is, yes, the expectation from a high to a low of this overall consolidation phase Bitcoin Cash has been in its whole life. The expectation is 13 to 23K right now. But I would say with this move, right, we've got from this consolidation phase here, we had to move up. We had this consolidation phase here, we had to move up. We're having this consolidation phase here. We're having our move up now. I think that's what we're starting this month, right? We're having our move up now. I think this move, where it finishes, is going to determine if I'm valid in thinking we see this 20K price or even 13K. I think it's this where this finishes is going to validate that idea, or it's going to invalidate that. So we're going to know by the end of this move, and not by the end of the cycle. By the end of this move, this move I think would end either by the end of December or maybe as late as like the end of February, but sometime in the end of this year, if not the very beginning of next year. And I think it's going to be how it is for a lot of coins. Like on this next rally, whenever it might start, which it might be starting soon, it might start in December, it might start later than that, but whenever the next crypto rally really starts, right? What we're getting right now is like a hope pump throughout the it's just like good energy throughout the cycle or throughout the markets, right? But it's nothing, at least not yet. It's nothing that's brought continuation. It's nothing that's like really brought full strength back to the market. There's murmurs, there's whispers, there's rumblings, but we don't have the conviction yet, right? When that convicting move, whenever across the market we are in a bull rally, right? The coins that underperform are going to be the ones that probably don't see new all-time highs this cycle. The coins that perform well and especially outperform Bitcoin, but outperform the rest of the market especially, those are the ones that I think we can expect to see new all-time highs. So with Bitcoin Cash, that whole idea, we're at $439 now. If we're not above at the least $1,200 by the end of this move, which who knows, does it come in at the end of this year? Does it come in sometime at the very beginning of next year? It doesn't have to be by the end of this year, just by the end of this move. If it's not at least above $1,200 by the end of this move, I don't see these targets being acceptable targets. Maybe 13K, but this wouldn't be, right? If we go to 1,700 or higher, like I'm expecting by the end of the year, if we see that, or any numbers that are above this, right? And the higher up we go, the better it looks, right? Because then we have less ground to cover by the end of the cycle. Then I think it's totally acceptable to talk about this. It might seem crazy right now because we're at 439, but you guys, we're about to experience this next move, which is going to break Bitcoin Cash out of its all-time resistance line. We're going to flip the monthly ribbon bullish. That's a very big deal, very significant deal on both accounts. I want to see, and I've been calling for this area all cycle. I've been calling for it since June of 2023, or probably earlier than that, right? Been calling for it for a long time. But it really comes down to this move, I think, to validate that idea, right? If we find resistance, if we can't even get to 1,000 by the end of, not this year, but by the end of this move, And again, I want to be clear with the language. We could be below 1,000 by the end of this year, and this could still look good. I'm talking about by the end of this move, right? If we're below 1,000 by the end of this move, I don't know, man, if it's appropriate to talk about 23K or 13K. At that point, we're just focusing on getting to new all-time highs, and maybe this fib from a high to a low would be appropriate, and in which case we're talking 3,700 to 10,000 instead of 13K to 23K, right, or higher, right? But time will tell. We'll see. That was a long, drawn-out answer for Bitcoin Cash. But that's my thoughts. You want me to talk about Bitcoin, Mike? Yeah, Fonzie, bro, what the hell? You missed everything, man. We'll talk about Bitcoin, but we're going to talk about ApeCoin for Garrick, sir, because he's been so polite and patient. He deserves it. We're going to talk about ApeCoin. ApeCoin, everybody's most disappointing NFT project. I think the Bored Apes, I think it's actually kind of cool. I've always wanted a Bored Ape, actually, like a cool one. I wouldn't want one that like is like cheap. I'd want to get like a sick one, but when I say disappointing, I just mean when it came out, everybody thought this coin was like the next big thing. And, well, it wasn't. Right? It had the Coinbase curse, right? Within the first like 60 days, you sold off a lot, and you haven't really recovered since then. But you had a lot of volume come in last month, and it promoted really no growth at all. It just gave you a lower high. So there's that. The chart on a monthly basis looks like ass. Okay, it doesn't look good. Finding new lows this late into the cycle, I would normally write that off, but I think it's okay. I think it's okay. Bounce support at the 1618, getting above the 886. I think you look productive from here. So I do feel confident that that's your low and you won't move lower. I do, okay? If you were going to move lower, I don't think you'd be spending so much time above the 886, and you have been, right? You've actually spent less time above the 88 or below it since you've been above it. So I actually do, and I like the structure on the weekly RSI. I do think you're going to move up, which is nice. Bouncing from the 1618 is a very bullish setup, by the way. You could really start to turn some gears here. ApeCoin, I don't know how much attention's been on it, but it might start to get some traction over the coming months, right? Not just by the end of the year, but over the coming months as this move progresses. I think you're going to see this thing rip really hard, actually. Or maybe you have some kind of inverse head and shoulders forming. And if that's the case, maybe you stop off at like 270. You're at 113. That's still a nice move, right? Move down a little bit and then continue to rip. Maybe that real rip doesn't come until later in 2025. Not so much by the end of this year. But I do think you'll see this thing recover. And same thing with ApeCoin, right? If you want to see new all-time highs, I think it does depend on what you do with this move. And right, I think that's how it is with a lot of cryptos. You're going to know the trajectory. We're going to know all the better for what to expect, I think, with a lot of coins for the rest of the cycle, depending on how they perform over the next, like, literally, like, the next two months. What was that? I blame my cat. Probably knocked something over. He was meowing. Anyways, forgot what I was saying there. Oh, yeah. So by the end of this move, I'd say for ApeCoin, you want to be at 588 to 788. You want to be at least up in that area, right? Somewhere at this resistance zone if you want hopes of seeing new all-time highs by the end of the cycle. By the end of this move, that's your case. And if you move up like this, where you move and then you consolidate for a second and then you continue to move up here, right? That's different. Right, that's not the same. I don't mean that you just have to move straight up, right? You can move sideways for a little bit, like a couple of months, and continue to move up, right? That's one move, right? Just like this here, this wasn't your whole move, right? You moved down here, but for a like 2-month period, you kind of moved sideways, actually, right? So for this whole move, you did move sideways for a 2-month period, and then you continued to go down, right? That's all I'm trying to say. Is that depending on this next move, however it looks, even if you stop here for like a couple months or so, you can still continue to go upwards. But you want to see this thing move up to, what was it, 6 or 7, 588 to 788 or higher, right? By the end of this move, not by the end of the year, by the end of this move. By the end of this year would be great, but by the end of the move, and then we can talk about you seeing new all-time highs. Until then, we don't know. I'm going to stop repeating myself and talking so much. Let's see, MAGA for Keltinger. There was another one that I was supposed to talk about. What's up, MJ Philippines Retirement? How you doing? MJ's Philippines. Is that MJ's Fusion too? Javon K. Tao. We can talk about Tao. Garrick, sir, I hope that was good for you. Yeah. Oh, we're going to talk about Bitcoin first, though. I'm going to talk about the old Harry Potter Obama Sonic Inu 10 coin. Okay. Volume 770K. Volume 6.2 mil. Okay, so there's that. 1 year 5 months, 1 year 6 months, 30 days though. Same thing. You're fumbling in the. We're already fumbling in the dark with a candlestick.